Okay, I just wanted to take a few minutes for a little pillow talk about what I use to work on the boat. This is my sanding trio right here. I started with my belt sander. The belt sander is I use a 40 grit sandpaper. This is pretty rough, okay? It'll tear your skin right off. So I started with the 40 grit and I kind of went with the grain a little bit, off the grain so I could keep a nice smooth, flat surface, okay? And it had the ridges in there, but I didn't worry because then I went over it with my Orbital sander. This is the workhorse for the boat, at least for this boat, the Orbital sander. I had one of those bigger buffer sanders, and guess what? Before I built this boat, about a month before, I sold it. Brand new, still in the box, and I hadn't used it since I bought it. I sold it, and a month later, it's like, I wish I had it, because it does a lot bigger space. So this is the one I've been using, and the sandpaper I've been using for this is an 80 grit sandpaper. So it went from 40 to 80, and I was able to go over all those ridges and get rid of them. Now, some of the places where I wasn't sure if I was going to be kind of digging in too much, I then used my board sander, okay? And if you recall, I just did a video on how to make these because they go for like 100, 150, some places $200 online. And I made this with mostly scraps. I probably got about $10 invested because I bought some of this material here. So if you want to know how to build it, go to one of my previous videos. You'll see how to build a longboard sander. And that I also used 80 grit sandpaper. And that comes on a roll. Ooh, it's not coming out now. Come on, there we go. There we go. It comes on a roll like this. Now someone asked me in a question in my video yesterday, they were saying, well, gee, maybe you could put Velcro on the bottom of this. And actually, if you're concerned about getting this on quicker, because what I did is use 3M spray, and I found that with the 3M spray, you spray the glue, you have to wait for it to get tacky. So when you touch it, it's not wet, but it's a little sticky. Then you put the paper on. It'll adhere right away. So you might have to wait, let's say 2 minutes, okay? Or you can just leave it without doing anything to it. And they do sell sandpaper, this size here, 2 3/4 inch. Or if you want to get it for the big one, okay, this is 4.5 inch. Those are the standards. They do sell sandpaper for both of these that are, it's like a peel paper on the back. You just peel it off and it's self-adhesive. And then you would just peel it off and just stick it right on. Okay, so they do have that. That's probably the easiest way to do it, is to get the self-adhesive one. Why didn't I use it? Because I already had this tape for my small, let me get out of the camera here for a minute, for my 17-inch sander. This is a longboard, I guess a shorter longboard sander. I had already purchased this and I'm trying to find a budget way to do this. The whole boat's been kind of on a budget, okay? So that's why I use it that way. So this is for the horse job, to get the thick stuff, to get it down so it looks fairly smooth. Then I smooth it out, get rid of the ridges with this, and then I even it all out because this contours, you see how that goes, this contours the boat where it goes around on a bend or straight. That's what I have. Let's get into the sanding now, where you can see me using each one of them. Okay, so the sanding is finally finished. Woohoo! not a big fan of sanding. So the sanding's finished. Everything is almost ready to put the primer on, which is going to be coming really shortly, so I can see what it looks like before I put another coat of primer and paint it, okay? But I did have about, I'd say 20 to 25 little spots here and there, some impressions, some holes, some places where the fiberglass didn't take on enough epoxy, okay, so that I need to go over and fill in. Now, I'm not going to use my West system, you know, go through the whole thing and make another whole batch. What I did is I went out and got this little Marine RX filler, okay? It's a one-time thing, goes for about 20 bucks. I got it at West Marine. Works like putty, hard as steel. So in the next video, I'll actually be filling in those 25 holes with this, let it set 24 hours and sanding it down. Then I'll be ready to prime. So be sure you subscribe so you can be notified when I'm doing that video. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be like watching paint dry. So come on, subscribe so I don't have to do this by myself because I get bored without you guys watching. So with that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.